another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Yeah.
I am your host, Orlando. With me, as always, bearded dragon.
The beaded.
The bearded dragon, Pedro.
What's up?
Welcome back, my friend. And today we are going to review Jojo Rabbit.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we're going to do our usual premise.
All right.
Jump into our spoiler-free review, and then we'll get into the spoilers. Pedro, take it away.
All right, this movie takes place on the tail end of World War II, and it follows this little boy who's in the Hitler Youth group, and he's not very popular. He's not very good at anything. He's not very athletic. He's not popular with the friends, and nothing like that. So he has an imaginary friend, and his imaginary friend is Hitler. And Hitler is the one that just brightens up his day, gets him going, motivates him to kick ass and be a little Hitler Youth kid. So it's a total dark comedy, in case you didn't know. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Good. That was a good premise, Pedro. Thank you for that. And now let's jump into our spoiler-free review. Pedro, 1 out of 5. What would you give it?
I give it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I was just looking at you nodding, so I thought you were going to jump in. So I give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did I don't know what it was, but it's just the perfect way to blend. Like, it's just such a crazy time. It's just a crazy event that it's very hard to make fun of this in like a satire way without ridiculing. And I thought this movie did a really good job of showing that it was a serious thing. Like, I don't know, it pretty much showed like the seriousness of it and the tragedy of it, but at the same time somehow made it funny. And I don't know how he did it.
Right.
But he fucking did it. He was able to blend it. I'm just cracking up, and at the same time, I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking crazy. But then you're just like, oh man, it's just so funny. And just Taika playing as Hitler was just ridiculous. So it just added to it. I thought it was great. I love the cast. I love Sam Rockwell. I thought Sam Rockwell was like one of the best characters there aside from Taika. And the kid did fantastic. I thought the kid actor was so freaking good. I wouldn't be surprised if he just starts doing tons of shit after this, honestly. But the actress they chose to play the Jewish girl, she was great too. So I don't know, man. The cast was on point. The humor was on point. Just the writing, it was good. There were a few things here and there that I'll probably get into a little later where I was just like, you could have done a little better with that. But overall, it hit. It hit home. Yeah,
I agree. I truly think that I give it a 4.5. I really liked it. I couldn't really. It's weird because it's a comedy of this tragedy, and I feel like the way, like how you say you don't know how he does it. I feel like the comedy behind it is kind of like the way he makes fun of it, but also kind of telling the audience like this is what happened during this time is so crazy that like
how did it happen?
How did this get here?
Yeah,
you know, like
how did he go from 0 to 100?
Right, like these ideas, this ideology that Hitler had is so bonkers that isn't that funny that you would think this.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that funny that a certain person thought this?
And then convinced an entire nation of this? Isn't that funny?
So I think that is the humor that he taps into. And we see it several times when we jump into our spoiler part of it, where it's kind of like a wink and a nod at the audience. Like, can you believe that you think you can cause a whole genocide and kill people who look just like you? Isn't that crazy? Wink and a nod to the audience. Like, that is the humor that is written. And as 2019, you know, like how now we are so diverse and so multicultural in almost every parts of the world. Yeah, it is funny that you would think that, because now that won't happen. I mean, it happens, but not on a grand scale anymore.
Not on a millions.
Right.
Right.
Because what Hitler did is terrible, but to brainwash an entire country is not an easy feat to do.
No, it's unbelievable, really.
Yes, yeah, especially, yeah. So I think that is the humor that he writes in with a very sensitive, like it's a wink and a nod to the audience, but he has it in a way of like, we got through this, kind of like,
Yeah.
like this is so stupid that someone thought that they can get away with this. Like, let's laugh at the stupidity of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where you can make fun of it and also please the audience in that sense of like that maybe people don't think that it's such a terrible
Right.
like.
And let me tell you, this movie coming out in this climate where everything offends everyone, that's one of the ballsiest things I've ever fucking heard of. When I saw this movie was coming out, I went, no fucking way. I'm like, this guy's Disneyed up now. There's no way he can get away with this shit.
Right.
Fucking got away with it, and he's getting crazy praise for it, and also he's getting panned for it. So it's like a very like polarized.
Mm-hmm.
It's very polarizing for critics, and I could see why. But I'm on the side that fucking loved it. I thought it was great. Do you want to get into the spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into the spoilers. So basically what I'm trying to say in terms of like how he does that wink and a nod is kind of like, it does it even in the commercial where he's just like, hey, Jojo, what's going wrong? Like, they don't like me. They think I'm weird, and they think I'm different. He's like, don't listen to them, Jojo. Look at me. People thought I was weird. Look at this Hitler guy. He's gonna get us all killed. Isn't that crazy? And it's just like,
yeah. Look at me now.
look at me now. I'm the leader. It's just like,
Yeah.
It's that writing of like, haha, yeah, you are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, even Jojo, where he is, in the movie, find out that his mother is part of the resistance, basically, and against
Right.
Nazi Germany, and she has a Jewish girl, and she's housing her in
hiding, right?
Yeah, hiding her inside the house, and you see that through the. What's so great about this movie is that children are so innocent, and in the sense of like you can really mold them into kind of what you want them to be, sadly. But it's that innocence that allows, and it's that their way of learning things and the way of like gathering information, they're so little kids are like they're just pure scientists in that sense. Mm-hmm. Him learning the fact that like, wow, this Jewish person is here, but we're exactly the same. Right. So it kind of...
That's why he's like, tell me your differences. Tell me your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And
like, oh, I heard you guys have horns. Where are your horns? And
then she starts fucking with him. Oh, we filed them down. And,
yeah. And I think that also allows the audience to see that like, yes, this time was a very crazy time. And this person, Hitler convinced massive amount of group of people to kill and cause a genocide of another group of people, but you realize through the eyes of a child how wrong it is, mm-hmm. because we are all the same. Mm-hmm. And you realize that because when they're talking or whatever, he's just like, there's no way that you can do this. There's no way that you're like this. You're, I am like, when he's like,
I am superior.
Yeah, I am Aryan blood. I am superior than you.
And she puts him like in a chokehold.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, like, where are your superiority now? And he's just like, oh wow, like
oh yeah, a weak Jew, like could have killed you right now.
Exactly. So I think that's where it shines in that sense of
right.
of showing the atrocities of the war, but also showing the innocence of that a child could have, and through his eyes realizing that this is not right.
Yeah. I thought they did a very good job of portraying like you said, the innocence of being a child, or it's like, yeah, of course you're gonna repeat what you're told.
Right.
And like you said, you're gonna be a scientist about like learning things, and then you're just gonna go, wait a minute. What I'm learning is that's a little strange.
Yeah.
But nope, Hitler said so, my imaginary friend.
Yeah.
I gotta say, every time he showed up, It was fucking hilarious.
I died. I was,
you know,
I laughed very loudly. So I was dying in the movie theater whenever he came up. And just like, there was like towards the ending, he was in his bed.
He was in the bed.
Yeah.
In the bed.
He was in his bed. He's just like, where were you? He's like, I've been waiting for you all day. He's like, oh, I was talking to a Jewish girl. The Jewish girl, you can't be talking to her. She's gonna fill your mind up with all this propaganda. He's like, come here. There's nothing wrong. Like, just come here and be with me. There's nothing wrong with this. And then he just
he's like, I was just keeping your bed warm.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's that everything he says is just like, isn't this crazy? Like, there's nothing wrong with this. And he's like, I'm an adult man in your bed. Like,
it's the perfect definition of a satire.
Yes.
It's like, this is ridiculous, and we're going to make fun of how ridiculous it was. So it is the perfect definition of a satire. Yeah. Especially Sam Rockwell's character, who's supposed to be like a general. There's even a part where he's with the kids, and he's like, oh, yes, even though we're surrounded on all sides with all these countries, yeah, sure, I'm going to teach you. Yeah, we're going to be great. Yeah, we're totally going to lose and get killed and murdered.
Yeah.
But hey, kids, let's go learn how to throw some knives and grenades. And even when he like gets hit by the grenade, he's like, don't do that. Like, I don't know. It was just so ridiculous of it. And
and it's towards the end, even the end where he's talking to his friend, and he's just like, what's happening? He's like, well, the Russians are here, and Americans are here, and the Japanese are here.
No. He goes, well, we're being attacked by the Russians,
right.
And then England, and then Africa. Our only allies left are the Japanese, and they don't look very Aryan.
Yeah. And so like even that.
I loved his friend, by the way.
Yeah.
The way he was delivering the lines was just so innocent and just silly. Or you're just like
very whimsical, very just like
exact. All hell's breaking loose, and he's like you said, very, very happy. Like, oh, well, you know.
Like, this is what we waited for. And this is what, like, you know, they told us we were going to go into war. So, like, you know.
Oh, there's this Jewish girl. Well, at least you got a girl, you know. Oh, good for you. You got a girlfriend. Like, oh, hey, Jojo, the girlfriend. I was like, look at him. What a bro, dude. I hope he doesn't die.
I thought he was going to die.
Yeah. When Rebel Wilson, like, gave him a grenade and went, come on, boy, come on. I'm like, no, you're going to get him killed.
Yeah, man. It was a good, I mean, it reminded me of a Mel Brooks movie.
Absolutely. 100%.
And doesn't he have a movie that's similar to this?
Yes, there's a movie where he plays as Hitler. And Mel Brooks is a famous Jewish comedian.
Yeah.
So for him to play as Hitler and do all that, it was just like, yeah, dude. He's another one that's like Taika, that's like, this is so ridiculous. You just can't help but laugh for just the sheer insanity of it.
Right. It's just that idea of like, how can this man convince 1 million people to do something crazy, and how does one of my favorite jokes was what can I do? Like, I just came back from getting hurt. My face got blown off. He's like, well, you can go take the clones out for a walk.
Yeah, and then they showed all the Aryan clones. Oh, it was all the kids. It was like Children of the Corn.
Right, yeah, because like
they were all blonde.
Because one of the infamous things that Hitler wanted to do was create an Aryan race, and how a better way to do that is to do clones. So he had a scientist like work on that.
Yeah. One of the jokes I really liked, which is from a Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase movie, is so when the Gestapo come to the door, it's like, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're checking the room, that's when Sam Rockwell's captain comes in. He's like, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler. And then when the freaking Jewish girl comes in, Heil Hitler, and I was like, oh my God. So there's a part in the movie, in the Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase movie, where they pretend to be doctors and they go into a tent and they're like, doctor, 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 doctor. And another one comes in, he's like, doctor, 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 doctor. And when they say goodbye, it's the same thing. So when they did the joke again, I was like, this joke never gets old, dude. You could add whatever into it, and it was so funny. I was cracking up. Dude.
Yeah.
It was kind of strange that I was like the only one laughing in my theater. I think everyone, and there were people leaving the movie. Right. I guess people went into it, because they were older people. I guess they went into it expecting it to be serious, and when they saw that it was just ridiculing, they just couldn't handle it. But I was fucking dying at all the Taika scenes. It was just the definition of insanity. Like,
yeah, I mean, there is several movies to if you want that kind of lens, of course, to see that kind of portrayal. There's The Boy with the Striped Pajamas, Schindler's List.
For the serious ones.
Yeah, for the serious.
Absolutely.
There's a ton. And like, I think this is a good movie. Like, in terms of history to show a child.
Mm.
You know, like, you know, what happened that back then was such a terrible thing, but to show a child that in the sense of like this boy, his imaginary friend is Hitler, and you know,
that's essentially his father figure,
right? And also you realize like you learn with him in the sense of like, wow, this is not how we should be viewing people. This is not how we should be like acting, and this is not what life is about. Like at the end, where like even at the end, we're like, oh, what do you do when you get your freedom? And she's like, oh, dance. You know, like
right.
Especially as a kid, like you shouldn't be worrying about this kind of like politics, you know? And I think it's a good message for kids growing up now in the sense of like, yes, the world is filled with hate. The world is could be very violent. There are things that can happen to you that are terrible. And there are people out there that might not like you for how you look or how you may act or whatever, however you identify yourself. But you should not concern yourself with getting involved in that because you are a child. You have, like his mom said, you have years and years to develop.
Yeah.
You should be enjoying your life, and you know.
That was actually one of the crazy scenes in the climax of the movie, I guess, when all hell's breaking loose. You look at the ones that are fighting, and they were the children.
Right.
Fighting. So it was like scary, and he's noticing it. He's running through, and he's just like, oh my God, this is what I could have been.
Right.
If I didn't have my eyes opened.
Right.
I could have been one of these kids just mercilessly getting butchered. Right. Because of the fucking crazy situation.
I took a part of the agenda.
Yeah. I gotta say, my favorite character, I mean, there's a lot of good characters, but one of my favorite characters in there was probably Sam Rockwell and Alfie Allen.
Well, yeah.
They were essentially the gay Nazis. They were in the closet.
Right.
And I know in the beginning, or like somewhere near the middle, you could tell that they're really close, and I'm like, there's something weird here. I got a feeling they're going to make a joke that they're gay or whatever. Right. But then they just took it one step further. He's like, yes, look at my outfit, and this is the feathers, and and then this is what I'm going to be wearing in the heat of battle. And then when you actually see the battle at the end, he comes out like it. I was just like, what the fuck?
Right. That is a joke to Hitler, right? Because he was closeted supposedly, or
that too. But yeah, but I also kind of took it as that he was, because the Nazis would kill gays.
Oh, okay, right.
And he was in the closet, and you can tell that he was suicidal and not down for the cause at all.
Right, of course not.
From the beginning. Like, you see it, he's like, oh, we're doomed, who cares, I'm in a battle. And he was like, I wish I was in battle. But I took it as he was suicidal. Right. And I think it sealed the deal when you saw the ending, like how he saves the kid.
Right, like kind of get out of here, you Jew.
Oh, get out of here, you fucking Jew. And then he just smiles about it after because he knows he's going to get shot. And 5 seconds later, you hear the gunshots. Right. So the guy was totally like, I got, the way I took it as, his character just kind of got swept into it. Right. He's hiding who he truly is or whatever. Right. And he just kind of like, he's on the sinking ship and he's just like, fuck it at this point, Right, yeah. So he was in too deep to actually fight, but at the same time, it's just like, I might as well just go out there and get butchered. So him and Alfie Allen's character, which is AKA Theon Greyjoy, like, I thought their characters were fucking hilarious, but at the same time, it kind of showed that, that they were also
just following orders.
They were also just following orders blindly, like, Yeah. And then they were also a hated, if Hitler or any of the Nazis would have known that that's who they were deep inside, they would have been fucking murdered just as easily as the rest. So so it was an interesting like way to do that. One of the complaints that I did have about this movie is so I actually really like Scarlett Johansson's character. I like the scenes that she had with Jojo, but I felt that her death scene or it didn't hit as hard. I don't know what it was. There was something about it where it happened. I don't know. It happened so quickly. There wasn't enough. I don't know. I just didn't feel.
It's hard to. The thing is with I think is that
I don't know if there's just too much comedy before it or what.
I think that's what it is. Like
and there was comedy immediately after. It reminded me of Ragnarok, which is also directed and written by Taika, where I was like, there were emotional moments in Ragnarok where I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to feel something, and 2 seconds later is a joke. So I'm like, you didn't give me a chance to feel anything. I felt the same with this scene.
To me, I felt for him.
Right, you're like, damn, that sucks, but I didn't. I didn't get emotional. I didn't get teary eyed.
No, I get it.
I usually get teary eyed with scenes like that. I'm very emotional in movies, but I didn't feel anything there.
No, I didn't get emotional, like teary eyed, like as I normally will. But it's because this movie it has so much emotions tied to it. So at one moment you're laughing, the next moment you're feeling sorry for the kid, and at the end when he's seeing all that destruction, like you want him to get out of there. There's so much things going on, and also comedy is woven throughout all of it that like it doesn't let me sit with a feeling too long. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of Ready Player One. It reminded me of Ready Player One when I think his aunt dies, and then immediately after his aunt dying, he's back on like chasing the girl. Right,
immediately flirting with her.
Right,
like, oh, yeah.
So like it reminded me of that, but not that to that extreme. Because you have several moments with Jojo and his mom.
Yeah.
And that hit home that his mom is clearly not down for the cause.
Yeah.
Clearly is with the resistance.
Yeah, and she's struggling to like keep her kid innocent.
Right. Like she has Jojo in the scouts, whatever, because
he has to be.
He has to be. He's German, he has to follow through, but she is not for this. Mm-hmm. So but there's so many moments that they interact together and you see the love that they have for each other.
Right.
That when they do show her being hanged, I do feel for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't feel a rush of emotions how I normally would feel.
Like in a drama movie, that would have been like the fucking gut-wrenching scene.
Right.
Of them. You would have been like, oh my God. That would have been the little girl in pink and Schindler's List type thing. Right. Where it was like, whoa. And then I was just kind of like, damn, that's sad. But I don't know. It just didn't get me. I was like, damn, they could have got you. I don't know what it was, if it was the tone of that scene or something, or maybe it was just so quick. It was like he's looking down and suddenly, I don't remember what it was, but he was following his eyes to something. He looks up at the shoes and I was like, oh shit. And I don't know. I was just like, that could have been a way better scene.
Yeah. I do think the way that they show like just the shoes, I think that was great.
That was great.
I think
it was very good.
I think to not show her face was a good move.
I agree.
I don't know, like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's showing her face might have hit it home more in terms of like an emotional punch.
Yeah.
But just knowing how that that's her, especially when there's a moment where she's dancing with Jojo and they focus solely on her shoes.
Yeah.
So you're aware that after that like, okay, those are her shoes. And then her coat because what she was wearing. So.
And one of the things was the way I took it as the symbolism of it was that he was always trying to tie his shoes.
Right.
And he never had his shoes tied.
He never had his shoes tied.
Kind of like you, actually.
Yeah, kind of like me.
But he still fumbled with tying her shoes, which pretty much showed that he wasn't a grown-up yet. Like he wasn't at that level yet. He was still there. At the end, when he finally ties this girl's shoes, that's when he finally goes full circle. Like, there you go. Now you are responsible. You're a guardian. I don't know. It was kind of like, the way I took it as was like, now you are now like your parents in a way.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like now you have someone to take care of.
Yeah. Or like, I think maybe it was kind of like, yeah, I can see that. Like, you need us to be there for you in terms of like tying your shoes.
Yeah, and then it's like now you're the one tying the shoes, so you have someone to care for.
Right.
That's the way I took it as. I wouldn't say a guardian, but just you care for. You have someone to take care of. Now.
Right. Like,
so
I could see that. I could see like the symbolism of that. Like, we take care of you and we love you, but he's obsessed with like the war and Hitler and politics. And then he lets go of that and think, okay, what really matters is loving and caring.
Yeah, it takes control of him.
Right. So that's what really matters. And tying the shoe, I think, is the symbolism of that. That's a good way of putting it.
I'm glad they ended it really quickly, but I kind of had a moment where it's like, no, where the love almost took over too hard at the end, where he lies to her that the war's over.
Yeah.
Pretty much it's like, shit, I've lost everything. I've lost my mom. I lost my town. I lost, the Nazis are dead. Like what I sort of kind of believed in. Club is dead. I got nothing else to live for except her. And if she's gone, what else will I have? So maybe if I keep her here.
Right. Which made sense.
It did. I saw that. I'm like, man, this is fuck. It sucks that he's going to do this character arc,
right.
So as I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, fuck, no. But it makes sense. And then I thought, man, I hope they end this quickly. And I'm glad they did. Just as quickly, he goes over to the book, and that's where he sees the rabbit in the cage, and then he goes, fuck. Like,
yeah.
And that's where it hits him. So I was like, damn, that was good. That was a good thing that they added, because they could have just as easily been like him opening it and, oh, hey, you're free. And it wouldn't have showed that conflict, that growth in there. So that quick 2-3 minute scene was like, it was pretty powerful for me. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's true. That makes sense. And it's like, oh, okay. You owned up to it. Now you.
Yeah.
And even that slap at the end where she just kind of looks around and goes, just slaps the shit out of him. He's like, yeah, I might have deserved that a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so cute.
It also reminded me of Wes Anderson movie, and also reminded me like of Mel Brooks.
Like Moonrise Kingdom?
Yeah, Moonrise Kingdom. Like just the innocence of kids, and just
definitely
kids being kids in terms of like, you think this is what love is, or you have an idea of what love could be. And yeah, so I truly like it. I like seeing things from kids' perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's always a learning. It's always a way of like teaching the audience, but teaching it through the eyes of a child that doesn't know. So usually, like in terms of like movies, I feel like when there's adults and they're learning things, they have to stumble a lot and like fight their ideology to learn this new perspective. For kids, they're so
easy to mold.
And like little scientists that they don't have that pushback that adults do.
Oh, I've been doing this for 20 years and it's worked just fine. Why do I got to change now? The kids are just like, I've been doing this for a day.
Yeah.
I'm
cool. I like visually seeing like films like that tackle like trying to teach the audience something through a kid, because it's easier because kids don't have that pushback because they're still learners.
One of my favorite scenes of the movie was when the Gestapo come in and then
Hey Hitler.
No, well, yeah, for funny, but I mean for like actual tension.
Yes.
Was I forgot what question they asked them. Oh yeah, where's your knife? And that's when she comes in to save him, and then pretends to be his sister and everything. And there was just so much tension in that scene where it's just like, oh shit, she's about to get caught. These guys are asking questions, and then Sam Rockwell's character was like, yeah, there's something fishy going on here.
Yeah, like he was in on it. Like he was like, nah, this is not right.
Right. I mean, I had a feeling too that I'm like, yeah, he knows something's up, but he's not going to say anything. But I mean, it's solidified when he quizzes her on the birthday and she gets it wrong, and he's still like, yep, you did it right.
Yeah.
And there's even that part where the Gestapo guy is like walking up to him, like he's going to double check the ID.
Yeah.
And he kind of just like holds it out like, all right, man, just fucking kill me. Again, with this whole suicidal thing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, here, take it. Fucking kill me. I'm with them too, whatever. But yeah, man, there's just so much tension in that scene. I was like, wow, you go from like this comedy to where I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually scared that someone's going to die right here. I kind of knew it wouldn't, but it was still, it was a very well written like scene where I was like, oh my God, I was like the edge of my seat in that part. So yeah. I really like that. And then, of course, they ended with the hey, it was still funny as fuck. So, but yeah, I overall, I really like the movie.
Yeah, me too. I loved it. I thought it was great. I can't really knock it for anything.
No.
It's good. It does a good job portraying, like, the atrocity of the war.
Oh, and so when they mention, oh, Hitler killed himself. Yeah, he left us all. And I'm thinking, because, the movie goes on for a while longer. And I'm thinking, man, it's such a waste that they wouldn't bring back Taika with maybe a hole in his head. And right when I'm thinking that, he fucking does come back.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, hey, you're going to leave me? And here's this fucking head dripping from the bullet
blood,
hole in his head. And then that was good because I wanted a moment where he pretty much says fuck you to Hitler, and he literally does say it. But I wanted that moment, and they did it. Where he finally yells at him and then, imaginarily kicks him out the windows. It was the full 180 of just like, yeah, fuck your ideology. Like you ain't shit, I like that scene. It showed his growth as a character. So
yeah, it was needed. So very good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Overall, great movie, man. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's about it.
All right, guys, check out the movie Jojo Rabbit when you have a chance. It's still in theaters. Check it out while you can because it will be out of theaters soon. Because it's one of those indie artsy movies that don't get a lot of like screen time.
Definitely.
And of course, like, subscribe, leave us a review, a comment down below on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll catch you next time on the episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Bye-bye.
Later.